Welcome back to the Sea Champagne Radio Show. Welcome back, I Love Music Army. Wolfgang Van Halen fans, new viewers to the channel, Hank fans. Hi, what's going on? As we have some news today from Wolfgang Van Halen and Hank chiming in on what's going on. Now, this is a fascinating story, and I can't wait to talk about it because of the Hank Van Halen Wolfie whole 9 yards. But before I get into the story, I invite you to join us, the I Love Music Army, our internet musical global family of friends, where we talk about all things music and entertainment. Right down below, right now, just hit that subscribe button, the like button, turn on the notifications. You'll never miss a video. I know you've heard it before, but this is one of the fastest growing channels on YouTube, and it's very interactive where I read every single comment, and I love responding to people. So cool comments will get something from me, that's for sure. But let's get into this story, shall we? Because I find it very interesting. Now, here's what we know from Wolfgang Van Halen. He's got a third record coming out in the next month or so, and he actually dropped the VH, where it's going to be simply Mammoth, which I like that. He's paving, his own way, his own career. He has a ton of haters out there for, I don't even know why he has a bunch of haters, but, he's doing the one-man band thing on a major level and then bringing musicians to go do the tour. He's playing every instrument. He's singing every note. That's something Ed never did. Ed didn't do that. But let's get to Wolfie and what he said and what you can expect from him with Van Halen songs in the future. Now, Wolfgang Van Halen has only played Van Halen songs just a few times, really a handful of times since Eddie's passing, most memorably at the tribute show for Taylor Hawkins with Dave Grohl, that whole Foo Fighters. He did On Fire. He did Hot for Teacher, and On Fire seems to be a special song for Van Halen fans. And, he's done Eruption, and he's done a few other things. But here's a quote from Wolfie on playing his dad's songs. I was like, this is either going to be a nice coda to Van Halen, or it's going to ruin my life. I don't think I would have ever been able to live it down with how many people who hate me and say, you'll never be good enough, and you'll have to play Van Halen to be relevant. At the one time I played Van Halen on my own, I ruined it and messed it up. In my mind, it would have ruined my life. I took it very seriously. Now, living in the shadow of a legend is not an easy thing to do. I mean, in sports, definitely. If you look at, some of the greatest sports figures, and even in music, I mean, Julian Lennon, was never like John, and he was always compared to his dad. And Eddie Van Halen, even more so because of what he did with the guitar. But someone who knows a little bit about Van Halen and about being in the shadow of a legend is Hank Williams Jr., who had something to say about Wolfie's recent statement that I just read to you. Not wanting to get into the Van Halen drama, and we both know, or we all know, that there's a lot of it out there, he simply said, I'm with Wolfie. That's it. And, so it wasn't a big, long statement, that it basically it was a support for Wolfgang Van Halen and what he wanted to do, because Hank, of course, he was living in Hank Williams, his dad's, this iconic country figure. And when Hank first came out, it was like, hey, play your daddy's songs. We don't want to hear your songs. And then he somehow found his way in the mid to late 70s with hit after hit after hit after hit with this really outlaw country movement that he was part of that really embolstered him and took off a lot of people's career. And then, of course, doing the My Name is Bocephus with Van Halen himself. So he knows a little bit about it here. But the question really is, what do you think? This is an interactive show, and I love to read all the comments. It's really exciting to me. And I invite you to join us right here. Go down there right now. Hit that subscribe button, the like button. You'll never miss a video. We do videos on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, sometimes bonus content, and we want you to be a part of it. What do you think? Share your thoughts and opinions. Man, in the meantime, I got to tell you this. All this talk is making me hungry. I got to go get something to eat. Until next time from the Steve Champagne Radio Show, keep the music playing and the good times rolling.